Hey guys, Mather here once again, and first of all, I doubt you need it, but a PSA that the PoE 2 early access action is what seems to be solidified now as December 6th. It's going to be coming soon in 3 weeks' time. I think it is something like 3 weeks. And the actual live stream to reveal everything that's going on with the early access and the state of the PoE 2 stuff is going to be happening in about 4 days' time on the 21st of November. So all this shit is finally coming to fruition. It seems like it's a little bit surreal that after seeing PoE 2 for so many years, for so many teasers and patches and early accesses and whatever the fucks, all this stuff, seeing it only basically ever on demo PCs or maybe on YouTube, stuff like that. Basically, you're finally going to get to potentially put it on your PC, see it on your monitor, and start interacting with it. So the details about the early access are coming in just a few days. We'll see what that's all about. Probably have to buy in maybe about $30 is my guess for a little supporter pack. Otherwise, yeah, something like the first 3 acts and then some end game. That's what we've, I think, been told at this point, and we're looking forward to that indeed. In the meantime, I've still been playing PoE 1, and this is the character I've decided to make next for a bit of fun. Based entirely around a shank animation from a marauder holding a dagger, which then prompted me to go, I haven't played Chieftain in a while, I want some Chieftain explosions, and I want a dagger shanking animation style bruv. So it's a Chieftain using a white wind, and then I went with Frostblades for this one. So it is a cold based. I was tossing and turning between like doing cold into fire or like pure cold or maybe a triple elemental. But white wind was kind of the goal because I only wanted to have one weapon for maximum shank looking potential. So we're using White Wind for, I don't know, the third or fourth time. It's a pretty weak item. It's getting kind of heavily outpaced by real rares and especially runecrafts in this league. So yeah, it's pretty weak, but it is still doable. And of course, as a chieftain, that doesn't make much sense now, does it? Because we have to travel a long way on this build to get to good nodes, to get to dagger nodes, to get to some crit nodes and stuff, and it's a bit weird. This is not a very good build, I will concede that entirely, but it has some interesting aspects to it. So we are spell suppress capped while also having 90 max res, so against like spells and elements I'm actually pretty thick. I have kind of negated to get any sort of physical style defense, so against that type of stuff I'm actually pretty thin. We are using Nightblade and Elusive for the first time in a long time, and it's still a bit of a problem when Nightblade starts ticking down, or when your Elusive starts ticking down to the lower values. Doesn't feel very good, and there is an Anoint to help with that at this point, but I don't know if that's enough. Haven't really tried it out on this character yet because I do need to fix attack speed, because, well, shit, being a chieftain doesn't really give you much attack speed, and it certainly doesn't help that I have to travel from one end of the tree to the other. The goal was kind of just to have like big explosions from Chieftain, and then I'm also using Herald of Ice, and it's certainly satiated that thirst, because yeah, the explosions are pretty delicious. Typically, they would be better with like Ignite so that you get some prolif and stuff, bigger value out of your explosions, but they're still just fun to have in a build like this. And also importantly, I am for the first time using katabasis Frostblades to actually attack with. So the normal Frostblades has the projectiles behind it, and katabasis doesn't have anything like that. It's just got the damage over time portion underneath it. And the reason you might otherwise use katabasis in an attack-based build is because it has really long range. So as you can maybe tell, we are attacking from like pretty much halfway across the screen, and that's without actually getting any range in the build whatsoever. It's just katabasis itself. So I'm not really scaling the range otherwise in any meaningful way. So katabasis is pretty damn good, and you'll see people are doing that for certain Frostblades, Slayer builds, stuff like that, that can go really high. and it is a pretty strong quote-unquote melee skill. So it's something to look at on much, more well-rounded builds than this one. This one, in the end, its biggest shortcoming is the single target isn't great. Like, I don't know, probably only a few million DPS and a bit inconsistent with Elusive and Nightblade. And then we're a bit squished to like fizz damage. For the most part, it's been an okay mapping experience. It's been pretty good, large-scale, blasty fun. Okay proof of concept. I imagine if you still wanted to do White Wind, something like a Slayer or a Warden at this point would probably have like 5 times more output than my current character. So White Wind would still be very viable. I mean, my weapon was only like 10C, and the character itself in general not super expensive. I am using a Replica Covenant, which gives me most of my cold damage, and that also means I have to take care of a lot of energy shield and mana cost business. So just a quick little tidbit or a little video about my character and that I've been playing for past few days, and also a bit of that PoE 2 stuff. Just a quick summary in case you somehow missed it. I will be, of course, covering that when the live stream happens pretty soon. Let me go ahead and show you my character real quick. So, yep, as I said, White Wind Chieftain. It's currently level 91. 5% Foot Massage is the character name because like 5% is an emote where Chieftain just glows and then does his explosion. And then Foot Massage basically just a big, whatever emote. Anyway, so it's very good feeling 5% explosions. Probably I think it's only the second time I'm playing Chieftain. And the first time, yeah, the explosions felt really good with Ignite. And once again, it's probably the way forward, or in a build that makes much more sense than this one. But I wanted to kind of force it, so we do have the Ancestral Call happening as well. And then just went with like resists as whatever else I could get. So I was forcing it pretty hard, as you can maybe tell by the passive tree, because that's where we end up. That's where we end up getting a lot of stuff. There is a lot of travel, and my first version of the passive tree was actually through here, and I only just recently respec'd. So it was like all over the place, and it does mean that you're like not getting good value from your tree or from your travel and stuff, especially since we're trying to fit in Fortify, we're trying to get Rage, we're trying to get the Splash, which feels good too, and then, yeah, a bunch of Resists. End result, kind of a jank setup, but it's a little bit of fun. So White Wind, like I said, still an okay weapon, especially in, builds that make more sense, like a Warden, for example, but it does get heavily outpaced by just a Tri-Elemental Rare, being able to use a shield. Shields are pretty good these days. You can dual wield some other stuff, or, a Runecraft right now is pretty powerful as well. So I'm forcing it pretty hard, and it's okay. We are using Replica Covenant to try and make up the damage that I don't otherwise have, and that also has its own issues. So with Chieftain as well, if you didn't know, which I didn't, the Ancestral Call is going to add another link's worth of mana cost to the setup. So we do have an 8 link right now, and as you can see, 140 energy shield and 71 mana, so 210 energy shield per attack. We've got good regen, and also using Energy Leech when we're actually attacking to keep up our energy shield. So that's how I'm basically doing that. Using Bone Chill, Nightblade, Multi-Strike, Frostblades of Katabasis, so plus 6 meters to melee strike range feels pretty good for a melee skill. And then also LE damage with attacks. Of course, using Devouring Diadem to try and get Eldritch Battery and then get Energy Shield recharge happening, using Herald of Ice, Haste, and Purity of Fire. Purity of Fire because I am scaling just Fire Res for the Chieftain stuff to get all of my max res happening, and that's the end result there. So otherwise, Mark of the Elder, just made a ring using Harvest, made this using Rogue, made this just fucking Harvest, or yeah, Harvest I think, and then some boots through Harvest as well, belt through Harvest as well. This character did not cost too much to put together, but it's not very special in the end either. Not sure what else to really mention. Just, yeah, it's pretty easy to actually take real good advantage of this Chieftain node these days. Max modifiers to max fire res, apply to cold and lightning, because you can get a lot of dual sockets that have 2 to max fire res. So if you just get any max res, so lightning, cold, or fire. If you get the lightning and colds, you can just turn them into fire using harvest as well. So it's pretty easy to get 3 prop jewels that have some max res, and then utilize those for even more max res for your chieftain shenanigans. That one does not have anything. Maybe that one? Yeah. So I got 6 max res coming from jewels, 1 from there, some from purity of fire, and in the end, yeah, that's kind of how it is built. So Chieftain, I'm forcing it pretty hard. It feels kind of cool for mapping and all that, but White Wind sucks. Chieftain for dagger based definitely kind of sucks, and the end result is the character kind of sucks. But it's been a bit of fun, and it was nice to put together. It's still nice to map on. I'm probably going to map for at least a little bit more, just so I can enjoy it a bit more, and then move on. Probably another character, and maybe that'll be the end for the Necropolis League, while we wait for PoE announcement for PoE 2 into just a bit of waiting for the actual early access. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited though to see everything they've been working on for years now, and at this point, the first few acts, if that's all we're given with some of the characters, should actually give us quite a lot to, try out and play through, and we'll see how the end game stuff is going to factor into all of that as well. But I mean, pretty exciting times, I think. It's looking good, and that teaser video that I showed at the start of this video, they showed us a lot of new bosses, a lot of new mechanics and stuff, and it looks pretty insane. It's some crazy stuff. I almost feel like I saw too much before seeing the whole thing, but it looks like they've been working hard at these cool world building vibe style bosses, and it should be a lot of fun. So with that, thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.